Hello. Right, we're gonna get into the aperture of one of these. These are both the same lens, it's just this one is easier to film because it's not black. But we're going to mess about with the aperture. So yeah, tools, lens, wrench, plastic tweezers, you'll find out later. Screwdrivers, ideally magnetic, probably a pokey stick and some other grabby things. Oh, and a rubbery what's it. Stage 1, make sure it's focused to infinity. Makes life a lot easier. Leave that one for a second. Main plate coming off. It's got holes for using a wrench, but I've been in here before, many times in fact, so it's all nice and loose. Screwdriver. 3 screws here. Oh yeah, these things are well handy. They can magnetise your tips of your screwdrivers. Right. So when taking this thing apart, there's a guy, Kenneth I believe, done a really good video on messing about with the focus thing. The general gist of it is always keep putting marks out of sight in line with your red line there. That one can come off. As you can see, more marks on each piece of metal lining up with that. Right, we can get these out. And that will release the enforced tea break. Back in a minute. Okay, I've got my cup of tea. Hopefully we can get this done before the tea goes cold. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Right, so where was I? Yeah. So yeah, this holds all the lens elements and the aperture what's it in place. You can see it's starting to drop in there somewhere, but that's okay. We're focused to infinity, so I ain't going to go too far. Right. Now we want to flip it over. Get that. Right, you don't want to undo that screw there. That will give you a load of grief if you undo that one. And these screws are usually the worst quality ones on here. So that one. Right, when taking this off, try and leave your aperture adjustment ring in place because we don't want to take that off. Yeah. A bit more. Because there's a ball bearing there and a ball bearing there. If you do end up pulling that off, you have to sort of balance one in there, get the other one on its thing, razor blade or something, very thin and flat, holding it down, and then press that over, and bring over, and then pull this thing out, and it all should stay in place. If your aperture is a little bit on the sticky side, and it's just not moving around, be aware that the movement of this thing should be nice and snappy. If it isn't, then you're going to have some issues. The most likely candidate for slowing everything up is this spindle here. To get that one out, you undo that screw, pull this little lever off, then undo that screw, then this whole mechanism comes off, then you'll have access. Oh yeah, watch out for this spring here. So you'll be able to clean up the spindle of that, and then it should all start behaving nicely again. Right, let's sit that there for one moment. Okay, so now we can get this bit out. So there's this ring which connects the, oh dear, whatever that is, the control ring there. Right, well, what we do, we pull all of it out. Remember, there should be a mark at the top which lines up with your red line in there somewhere. Out for a minute. That, I can drop that back in there. Get in there. It's a good place to get it. When this is in this state, do not turn the focus ring. Got this. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Back there. That's just in case it gets knocked or something, then it's all relatively together and safe. Alright, we can forget about that bit for a while. Right, so we need to get the lenses out. So we've got an inner ring, outer ring. You want the outer ring, use one of these tools and undo it. Sit that to one side. This one. It's an inner ring, outer ring. You want the outer ring. Watch out, don't smash that pin up against the table too hard, because that's another headache waiting to happen. Right. Pop that to one side. Right, now we have this. Okay, remembered where I was. Right, so there's these two marks here and those in there which are very faint, so we're going to make those a little bit more prominent. There you go. Right, now I can see them. So we know which way round this inner part goes to this outer part. And we can take these screws up. Take this control pin off. Only goes on one way. It's a bit pingy, but we've got it out anyway. Now we can pull this along this way a little bit. Oh, okay, I'm thinking of something else. Right, so this. Alright, where are we going next? I think we should take this ring out of here. It is possible to actually forget to put this ring back in, as I found out. Right, now the internals should lift out, so you get something to balance that all on. Come on. Yeah. Out. And we've got this bit gone. Okay, so in here I've made 4 scratches there and 4 scratches there, because you want to keep that internal bit lined up with that bit. And what's the next bit? Right, so to drop that out of there, we need to remove this little gauge stop thingy. And to get that ring off of there, I believe I have to loosen that one a little bit. So we can loosen that now. That should stop that from going too far that way, so we don't draw anything in the process. Let's make a mark on that one so we know where the end is. And we've got the pokey end bit there, so hopefully that'll guide us a clue when I'm putting it back together again. Now we can undo this ring. We've got that screw stopping this from destroying that bit as we loosen that thing off. Right. I want to keep this one flat because there's ball bearings under here, and we all know how much we like ball bearings. Come here. Don't smash a hole in the thing. Come on. Come on, butterfingers, Jesus. Rotate. Lift that bit out rather carefully, or clumsily. Now, we don't need the plastic ones yet, but we do want a metal thing with a magnet on it, and then we can get these ball bearings out. And they do like to roll away. Them out of the way. Get this bearing race thing out. Like there. Right, now where did that locking screw go? It's around here somewhere. Right, there you are. Right, now we need to put that screw back in a little bit. Otherwise it might cause issues with clearance pulling the... There we go, that's in and just about flush. Yeah, don't worry about them going all wonky, it's when this, the alignment of that. Anyway, right. Put the thingy on there, that plate does push out, but seems to hold itself in quite well. There's a locating pin, which should be fairly self-evident. So this bit, ideally you want to keep it this way up, and when blades come off, the one at the very tippy top bit there, they're the ends which go into this bit. So free to clean these with petrol or whatnot, and then put in the back. It's a case of put the end bit in. I like to get that tip on top of the previous one's out pin. On top or just inside, either way. Did I forget to mention that? Yeah, I did. Okay. Well, no, there's the 4 scratches there, which line up with the 4 scratches there. Just want to this one under that one into that. And we'll start tucking all these in so it's somewhere in the middle of its range of movement. Just trying to get it to look nice and even, and lining up with the next bit shouldn't be too difficult. Right, that one. And oh shit. Right, that'll do. Right. So I'm looking for the 4 scratches around this edge here somewhere. There they are. 4 scratches on that one, there they are. So we elevate this. Over the top and sort of hovering over the pins, and we're just backwards and forwards until a lot of them line up, and you start to catch 1 or 2, 3 or 4, and then we've got them all. Right. Back over. Make sure we don't lift anything we don't want to lift. With this other thing, we'll try and stick in. There we go. Right. in with the brass ring and the ball bearings from hell. Ah, shit, pings, you know what I mean? They just go. Yeah. Right, that's all them balanced in there. There's a groove in the inside edge of that, so that holds that. And we've got our bearing race holder. We can drop that in, and then a bit where you pray that it catches onto something. Oh dear. There we go. Right, it's very loose, but it's just enough to stop it from escaping. Right, there's that thing, so we want to wind that out a little bit. Oh, and we can continue putting that down. Right, starting to go flush. That. Ah, no, that didn't happen before. We can see we've got two ball bearings there. One of them has escaped. So we need to do this again. Several of them have escaped. Right. Okay. Get back in there. Right, let's try it again. I've got a feeling one of them moved, but we'll see. can just about see the bearings in there. They all seem to be in the correct place, hopefully. Put this screw back in. I'm sure there's variants on the size of those blades, because every time you do it you end up with a slightly different shape in the middle there. I don't particularly like that shape, but we'll do that later. I think the idea is if it starts out with a shape you like, then don't mess about with the order too much. Alright, now here comes my favourite bit. Put that bit on there. Try and get that screw to go in one of those holes, doesn't really matter which one. Off. Try and straighten that bit of metal out. Go. Holding the internal bit, push that up to line up with the line which we made earlier. Try and get one of those tightened down before it decides to move somewhere else. Right. Right, that's that bit done. Right. So where are my two scratches? I think that's them. And those. Have I forgotten something? Don't know. We'll find out. Two scratches there. And this goes in there. Let's get one of these in just to stop it from going anywhere I don't want it to. lever. And the forgetful ring. We've reached the bottom, good. Snug. Nothing's binding, nothing's too tight. Right, and chuck the glass back in. Reverse, listen for the click. There it is. And forwards. Tight. Right. Next, back in, much easier than the front. Snap bit, right. Return to this thing. There's my focusing scale, it's at the top there. There's my thing to mark where that is. But these notches have got to go into there and there. They're in. Drop this thing back in, those notches on this outer edge, those on those pins down there. A little bit of a wiggle and it's on. Get these screws lined up. The control pin around there needs to go in that notch. There. So got that in there. And then paying attention where the screw hole is to the screw hole on the top. And hopefully Alright, so we're looking down there, our scratches near the top edge, got the screw holes to line up. I believe it was these shorter screws and then it's the longer screws for that one. Oh, this red paint stuff, that might slow you down. You put a dab of isopropyl alcohol on them and then that loosens them up. longer screws there? I don't know. Let's see. Might have done that. I was about face that. If these don't go all the way in, then we know we've got the wrong ones. Yep, those are the wrong ones. Okay. So. Shorter ones hold the top bit on, the longer ones hold all the middle together. And there you were thinking, oh, he's going to finish the video, and then he balls it up. Right, centre top scratch, centre top scratch. Again. Oh well, get in there, that's it. Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't think the lens touched it. Whatever. Mumble, mumble, mumble. Okay. One APERTURE. Ta-da!